Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. I hope you've all had a terrific Tuesday so far. Today we've got a video that we're excited to share with you. We're going to be going over some absolutely huge news coming out of the Cardano ecosystem that you ought to know. Certainly you ADA fans out there, this is something absolutely massive if you understand what it means, and it's brought to you by the Wing Riders DEX. We're going to be talking about Wing Riders DEX as well, which is another DEX that has just launched on top of the Cardano network. That is extremely impressive. So we're going to be talking about that. We'll be getting into it all, talking about the huge news, which I'll tell you right off the bat is essentially the fact that we now have USDT and USDC, Ethereum native stablecoins on the Cardano blockchain. This is absolutely huge with Bitcoin and Ethereum coming soon, and we're going to be reiterating that. We'll then, so we'll go over all that. We'll then talk about the price. You guys know that we have daily videos where we talk about the cryptocurrency market generally, not just ADA. And essentially right now you have a huge correlation, I'll get this out the way of, with your macro markets and the crypto space. It's very interest rate sensitive at the moment, or speculative, and a number of other things. So that's really what's going on in the macro picture. And I would definitely argue, and we will do a little bit of TA on the price because we are below a very key level, that the Cardano price right now is more reflecting the macro markets and not what's going on internally. You know, this is a disconnect between an asset and the value that it may have and its price, which sounds strange to some, but of course this is just markets being markets. So we will of course do that in a little bit. So the overall market is sort of seeing a little bit of potentially a return move after such a harsh sell-off yesterday. Too early really to tell, but the massive news that I of course have for you today is not only that Wing Riders DEX launched, but they've also brought USDT and USDC to Cardano. This is huge, and this is a DEX that I'm actually very impressed by. Not only are they a DEX, not only are they bringing stablecoins, but they also have an NFT marketplace that's all interoperable through this interface. Very impressive. I've used DEXs on all, at this point, pretty much all smart contract protocols, Ethereum, Solana, TERRA, Avalanche, you know, even Algorand, and this is a impressive DEX as far as I'm concerned. But the really impressive thing that I want to share is exactly what they've done in regards to bringing stablecoins to ADA. Here we have an article that reads, Wing Riders will launch with USDT and USDC on Cardano mainnet, BTC and ETH coming soon. We're going to read a bit of this article because this is significant. And one thing that I've been saying is the Cardano ecosystem is going to absolutely explode once it gets to the implementation of stablecoins. And I was actually kind of expecting native ADA stablecoins before this, the likes of JED, but it seems like Wing Riders have already sort of bridged, not only bridged the gap between Ethereum stablecoins and Cardano, but actually stablecoins, you know, they've done a brilliant job. So we're going to get into this article, and, you know, again, to reiterate, and this article kind of touches on it, if you look at the TERRA ecosystem, if you look at your other ecosystems out there, for example, I think TERRA has $16 billion just in their stable coins. It makes up a large part of their ecosystem. You can see most of the big pools on one of their big DEXs on the TERRA ecosystem. You know, the majority of locked up value is really stable coins, and that's kind of replicated on a lot of the other protocols. You know, that's one reason why stablecoins are such a big deal, but we're going to talk about it, and this article is going to sort of clear some of it up. Greetings, riders. We are excited to announce our partnership with Milkameda and Flint Wallet and their implementations of the Ethereum Virtual Machine, EVM, on the Milkameda sidechain protocol, which will run on WADA, wrapped ADA, from our mainnet launch. The protocol is a sidechain project on Cardano, allows fees to be paid in WADA. What does this mean for us at Wing Rider? Simple. ERC20 stablecoins, USDC and USDT, and very soon Bitcoin and Ethereum running on Cardano mainnet. This is huge. And this is a kind of visual representation of how they've made this happen. Essentially, Milkameda is a layer 2, similar to Polygon for Ethereum. And they are EVM compatible. Now, what Wing Riders are doing is they're bridging. So Milkameda bridges from Ethereum to Milkameda. Wing Riders, through a Milkameda bridge, are essentially taking those coins that have been taken from the Ethereum ecosystem over here, put onto here, and actually bringing them onto ADA in the form of wrapping them. So this is a lot of liquidity. It also adds a sort of another level of play to the Cardano ecosystem, and we'll read what they have to say about this. What does this mean for Cardano? One of the things that really boosts adoption of Ethereum in 2018, 2019 was the adoption of stablecoins. These provide value in two ways. They become a non-volatile safe harbor asset for people on the DEX or more widely on the Cardano blockchain, because stablecoins are stable. In the case of USDC, they are pegged to the US dollar. Number two is by providing a simple way to get into the market. Stablecoins act as a great liquidity accelerator for the entire crypto ecosystem. When Tether launched, it quickly went from millions to tens of millions to billions of dollars in total value. And this is true. You know, stablecoins add a lot of utility to an ecosystem. You know, Ethereum benefited greatly in the same way Terra's benefiting. Stablecoins are a really staple point. And not only that, certainly in volatile time periods like we're seeing for the cryptocurrency market, you know, sometimes it's good to stay within crypto, but maybe not in something that's volatile. They act as a kind of, you know, if you're worried about the market, you can jump in and out of stable coins, a kind of mitigation, if you will. This was the first transaction of USDC on the Cardano blockchain. You can see here USDC and the amount sent. You know, this is huge. And the DEX itself, the Wing Riders DEX itself is very, very impressive. You know, like I say, I've used a lot of DEXs. I will be taking part in this. And given from what I've seen from this team so far, and this is not financial advice, I'm going to be definitely doing some farming and also looking out on their Discord, because, by the way, they didn't actually publicly tell anyone they went to mainnet today. But I'm definitely going to be looking out for how I can get my hands on the WTR token, because I think this is a very impressive team. And they've not just launched a DEX, they've brought stablecoins to the Cardano ecosystem, and they're also looking at an NFT marketplace, will be a one-stop shop, basically. You know, it's very, very impressive what they've done. They're also the people that found the bug in the MinSwap protocol. And I can tell you now, if that happened on Ethereum, that bug would have been exploited. Instead, they went straight to the MinSwap team and kind of, you know, told them about it, and thus it kind of got fixed. So that's really the news that I have for you. You know, this is huge. And I think people that have used the DeFi ecosystem or a DeFi ecosystem will understand what stablecoins bring. And I'm still really looking forward to sort of Cardano native stablecoins. But this is certainly, you know, a huge step in the right direction. I mean, Milkamida themselves are a massive deal that I think is largely overlooked. And this is, you've got USDT, USDC, you've got BTC and Ethereum. Soon, if they can do it with those assets via the EVM bridge, they can bring on things like Aave or Compound or, you know, so other protocols that are built on top of Ethereum, and actually have them trading within the Cardano ecosystem and living on the Cardano mainnet via wrapping, essentially. So let's get into the technicals, guys. And again, to reiterate, you know, stablecoins make up a huge part of a DeFi ecosystem, and they're actually a huge part of Terra's DeFi ecosystem. If you go into these individual protocols, like Anchor, for example, is one reason I actually like Anchor myself, is because they offer 20% on stable coins. That's huge. And that's very appealing. You know, you can live off that kind of an API in the crypto space quite comfortably in many occasions. So what's going on for ADA? Well, we have been keeping you up to date. We certainly filled you in yesterday on why we were more not worried about Cardano in terms of an investment. I'm in it for the long term, but it's more that at the moment, short term, next 3 months or so, we've got a lot going on in macro markets that are driving, the macro backdrop is driving the cryptocurrency space right now. Just like it's driving we've got here, this is obviously you can see in blue, this is Bitcoin. Rather confusing as Bitcoin's typically in orange. And in orange, we've got the NASDAQ. You can see the correlation. And people go, okay, well, what about this over here? This was a pariah that was sort of fundamentally driven in many ways within the crypto space. And kind of a cooling off of a number of things. There was lots going on internally here, but this is all macro driven. You can see this sell-off was capitulation. This is sort of institutions, in my opinion, exiting the market in fear, or what they're really doing is taking risk off the table. In regards to ADA, we did have that reverse head and shoulders that we were looking at. That has been, and we did say the second you break this $1 mark, you're invalidating it and likely going slightly lower. That's what you've done. And the issue is this isn't strength, if you see what I mean. You know, this potentially is a sort of a retaliation move. We need to see more. It's very early to tell. And also, if you see a kind of coming up to this $1 mark and a rejection, that's not a very positive sign at all. But I think this is all now driven by macro markets. Even though, and I mean, this is a kind of a testimony to it, what I'm talking about, that price isn't really representing what's going on within Cardano and as Cardano as a blockchain. A couple of interesting things to note on the kind of bigger time frame. If we quickly go to the weekly, we have got the Vasil hard fork coming up. Now, this is significant, certainly from a data point of view, because it would kind of, if you look at your other hard forks, bear with me, guys. If you look at your other hard forks, so for example, here you had a hard fork. Here you had a hard fork. Of course, we had the Alonzo hard fork on the run to $3. You got the Vasil hard fork. This is going to be one of the first times that we don't potentially see a significant run, and it still could happen to the hard fork. It's coming in June, by the way, guys. Also, we had the MACD weekly cross that we've shown you on a number of occasions, and that would kind of be the first time that hasn't sort of come to fruition. But yeah, so I'm really going to love and leave you on that note, guys. We've already got the MACD here. MACD crosses typically have meant for Cardano that you see upside. That's not necessarily being the case today. So there's lots going on to pay attention to, kind of breaches of data, if you will, moving forwards. But that's really all I have for you in this video, guys. If you've enjoyed this content, a like is always appreciated. So is a comment. Remember, we do have the stake pool. ALLIN is the ticker. It's my official stake pool. We're sort of helping to decentralize the network and enjoying doing it. All I have for you in the video, guys. I'll catch you all in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching.